number 1. A new bill is coming that will see the standardization of valuations for properties across the board. A number of areas identified as possible business opportunities for African and Caribbean countries. The UWI researchers come up with low-calorie food products. And in sports, Barbados chasing a challenging total to make it to the Super 50 final.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. A new valuation bill will be headed to Parliament shortly. That's the word from Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn. Speaking at the 10th Valuation and Construction Conference at the Barbados Hilton, he said the bill will ensure valuations for properties across the board are standardized.
You will have persons who will object every year to the Revenue Commissioner on the value of their property. But when it comes time to having a negotiation about selling that property, all of a sudden the valuation is much higher than what the Revenue Authority has. For insurance purposes, you would appreciate, because as we want to ensure that we build resilience, we find a situation where persons are under-insuring, because obviously the valuation that you're using with respect to the payment of your premium obviously is in conflict. And therefore, the regulations around valuations for these purposes have to be, especially in a small island developing state, we have to get this right. Because all it takes is a significant natural disaster, and then people are exposed for different reasons.
Mr. Strawn also said the new legislation will help to unlock investment.
We want to unlock investment, and I believe that the provision of clean data is important for people to make investment decisions, however small, whether it is a one-bedroom, two-bedroom villa, whether it's a one-bedroom, two-bedroom, three-bedroom home, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a commercial enterprise. The essence of valuation is going to have to be at the center in terms of clean data to allow us to be able to make good policy decisions in order to ensure that we can unlock true investment at all levels with respect to the real estate market.
Barbados has told a forum of African leaders and business officials there is scope for Africa and the Caribbean to partner in a number of spheres. Among the areas identified by Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley are pharmaceutical development, tourism, and particularly the cruise industry. The Barbadian leader says countries have been taking too long to form bridges. Ms. Motley was among the panel for the 2023 African Investment Forum ongoing in Morocco.
We need now to be able to establish those bridges. In my own country, we do home porting for cruise ships, and we do it for the Europeans and the Americans. And I ask myself, where are the Africans? Where are the people from the Gulf? The truth is that we have not traditionally gone in there, but these are distinct opportunities for Africa to exploit, because if you're going to get the bounty of development, it means that you're also going to have people whose incomes will rise, and once people's incomes rise, the issue of how they spend it in terms of recreation also becomes an option. Why is Africa not leasing ships within the cruise industry?
While stating the journey for Africa and the Caribbean has been similar, Ms. Motley says it will be difficult to raise the quality of life for citizens if countries in both regions continue to fight the climate crisis.
And that is why we believe that there has to be a unified approach to creating a more level playing field. We have, through collaboration with others, brought to the table the Bridgetown Initiative, which is intended to lower and level the cost of money, of capital, to our countries. We've heard much today about the possibilities that Africa offers with respect to being able to create a just industrial strategy that is appropriate to the greening of our economies in terms of the transitions that we must make going forward, and that will also allow for our young people to be able to be on the cutting edge of where the world must go to protect itself.
The new 2023 Physical Development Plan for Barbados will soon be taken to Parliament. That's the word from Senior Minister in the Prime Minister's office with responsibility for coordinating infrastructural projects, Dr. William Duguid. He made the revelation during the Barbados Town Planning Society's World Town Planning Day webinar.
I can advise you that the Physical Development Plan amended 2023 has been approved by the Cabinet and will be laid in Parliament shortly. The Physical Development Plan articulates our vision, strategies, and policies for land use, planning, and physical development in Barbados. We regard the amendment of the Physical Development Plan as an opportunity to set in place transformational and foundational changes to the patterns of growth, mobility, and provision of infrastructure. It is an opportunity to support Barbados' transformation to a green economy and to plan sustainably for the needs and potential of future generations of Barbados.
Minister Duguid has been given some insight into what is covered in the amended plan.
The key directions in the Physical Development Plan 2023 include adopting resiliency and adaptation strategies as cross-cutting and critical considerations in all aspects of the Physical Development Plan. Integrating a national cultural heritage strategy based solely in the UNESCO World Heritage Site Management Plan directions, but also recognizing island-wide cultural heritage assets.
The University of the West Indies at Cape Hill will soon be bringing its line of low-calorie food products to market. That's the word from Deputy Principal Professor Winston Moore. He says the products created by a team of researchers based at the UWI originated at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in a bid to help control diabetes.
We are actually in the process of commercializing the products that they've developed. They've developed low-calorie shakes. They've developed low-calorie meals. There's a possibility of developing low-calorie ice cream as well. And that is the type of innovation that we are working on here at the Cape Hill campus. That's the technology transfer between university and industry that we do on a regular basis. And the seed program does an excellent job of starting new businesses, but there are lots of other really interesting and innovative business ideas that sit at the University of the West Indies.
In other news now, the Barbados Police Service is seeking your assistance in locating a wanted woman. Lauren Rose Desimone, a visitor to the island, is wanted for questioning in connection with serious criminal matters. Her last known local address is number 9 Warners Park, Christchurch. The police say Lauren Rose Desimone is Caucasian, of slim build, and has long, straight hair. Desimone is advised that she can present herself to the Narcotics Unit, Oisins Police Station, accompanied by an attorney-at-law of her choice. Anyone who may know the whereabouts of Lauren Rose Desimone is asked to contact the Narcotics Unit at 418-2631, Police Emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477 or the nearest police station. The police are also searching for a Christchurch man in connection with serious criminal matters. He is Troy O'Neill Rollins. His last known local address is Lodge Road. He is said to be dark and stocky. Rollins is advised that he too can present himself to the Narcotics Unit at Oisins Police Station, accompanied by an attorney-at-law of his choice, and anyone who may know the whereabouts is asked to contact the Barbados Police Service. Now, members of the public, you are also reminded that it is a serious offence to harbour or assist wanted people, and anyone caught committing this offence can be prosecuted. Well, preparations are underway for Sunday's Remembrance Day Parade in National Heroes Square in the city. Well, today a team from the Barbados Defence Force was busy cleaning the area ahead of the event held to remember the servicemen and women who lost their lives during World Wars I and II.
It's take a lot of hard work. Gonna power wash the old fountain here. As you can see, the gentlemen there are doing that. And then our main focus is the cenotaph, because there's where the eyes or the cameras will be.
The parade and short service featuring several armed and unarmed groups will commence at 8 in the morning. Wreaths will be laid by President of Barbados, Her Excellency the Most Honourable Dame Sandra Mason, Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley, Chief Justice Sir Patterson Cheltenham, members of the Diplomatic Corps and other dignitaries. The parade will be broadcast live on TV8 and heard also on radio. We'll take a break here, but coming up, assurances about how reading will be taken in schools. Barbados has been reassured the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training is taking reading in schools seriously. Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer-Bradshaw says the matter has the attention of the ministry. She was among the panel for the latest consultation on the proposals for education reformation held at the Princess Margaret Secondary School.
Last week, I shared with you that we have an education officer who is tasked with ensuring that deficits are addressed. We are also creating a task force to address reading at the primary and secondary levels. So I know you asked that question again because I know how passionate you are about it.
Concerns were raised about the number of boys being left behind in the school system. Director of the Education Reform Unit, Dr. Ida Mae Denny, revealed the attrition rate for boys from the education system is significantly higher when compared with girls. She says more boys than girls do not get the opportunity to write CHC subjects or make it to the fifth form. Dr. Denny says education officials are concerned as very often these boys end up on the block or getting involved in gangs. The education official believes retraining of teachers is critical.
We have to re-educate our females as to how they need to deal with male students. That's one of the first things that we need to do. Then girls will sit and take in dull, boring content more so than boys. Boys are going to get restless. So we have to find ways of engaging the boys that will keep them paying attention. And that includes bringing some of the things in the classroom that they want. The chief talked earlier about some schools not doing agriculture science. You know, some schools did agriculture science, the boys will be interested.
A high-level delegation from Barbados Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs visited Tokyo for the purpose of integrating some of the advances Japan has made in their social sector strengthening. The delegation, led by Minister Kirk Humphrey, included the Director of the National Assistance Board, Colleen Walcott, the Chief Welfare Officer, Deborah Norville, as well as the President of the Barbados Association of Retired Persons, Marilyn Rice Bowen. During the visit, Mr. Humphrey made a courtesy call to Japan's State Minister for Foreign Affairs. On this trip, the delegation will visit facilities for the elderly, people with disabilities, children, and general welfare services. The exchange was made possible by the Japanese Embassy in Barbados. Government has enlisted the support of the University of the West Indies as it continues with efforts to preserve the Barbados Landship. The news comes as the organization caps off its 60th anniversary celebrations. Akeem Klinkett reports.
160 years are not 160 days, and the Barbados Landship Association made sure to celebrate the momentous landmark. The organization, which is the oldest socio-economic organization in the Caribbean, has withstood the test of time and keeps being a pivotal part of Barbadian folklore. To celebrate the occasion, a parade was held in Queen's Park, where attendees from the different zones, as well as primary and secondary schools, took part. The Barbados Cadet Corps, the Girl Guides Association, and even the Barbados Youth Service all came together to create a parade to honor the organization. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office with responsibility for culture, Chantal Moonrow-Knight, spoke to the importance of the landship to Barbados. She stated that the organization is so important to the nation that the government has started an initiative to keep it relevant going forward.
Some of those schools that you would have seen parade today are part of a program that we started, the Division of Culture, the National Cultural Foundation, to launch landship docks in schools, primary schools and secondary schools across this nation. And thus far, over 300 children in this nation have been participating in those landship docks. So that when we talk about a culturally relevant education, that is the exemplar. We are sharing with a generation, again, that cultural heritage and ensuring that that resonance continues.
Minister Munronai also said that the educational aspect of the landship will now be extended to the University of the West Indies.
We also have an accredited course in collaboration with the University of the West Indies in landship movements. And this is something that we need to herald and again be proud of, because we have taken something that was a part of who we are in the post-emancipation period and ensure that it is now entrenched by ensuring that we can make sure that it is accredited and professionalized. And again, that is something to be heralded.
Akeem Plinkett, CBC News.
A pork festival is being organized to raise money for charity. It is being held by the officers and members of Lodge Pelican. Master of the Lodge, Bruce Rowe, says the effort is part of the 40th anniversary celebrations of the Lodge Pelican and will take place at the Masonic Center, Salters, St. George on Saturday. He says efforts are being concentrated on a number of charities and it is a high point of an annual month-long celebration.
We support 5 charities at present. Comere School, through their All Scouts Association, the Boy Scout Association, the St. George Primary School, prostate cancer, and the Salvation Army Back to School program.
Well, it is hoped that the event will be bigger than last year's when over 400 people attended.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Time for us now to turn our attention to sports and to Anne-Marie Burke. And if you pay very close attention, you would see Bonnie and Anne-Marie did not share with me the memo. Maroon. Good evening, Anne-Marie.
Good evening to you, Pearson. Next time we'll make sure that you are in. 2 national cricket teams were honoured recently when family, friends and members of the local cricket arena assembled at Kensington Oval in celebration of their recent regional Double Crown success. It was a salute for the outstanding performances of the Barbados Under-17 men and the Barbados Pride women's cricket squads. The Under-17 men, led by Captain Zion Brathwaite and under the guidance of Coach Dexter Topping, created history when they were crowned champions of both the 50-over and 2-day tournaments that were held recently in Trinidad. That squad won the 50-over competition, registering 2 victories along with 3 no results to accumulate 16.2 points. The 3-match 2-day series further tested the side as a draw against the Windward Islands in the first match meant that we needed to secure important points in the remaining 2 games. They then registered victory in the second match against the Leeward Islands before securing an important draw in the third and final match against Guyana. Meantime, the Pride women's squad with coach Corey Cullimore had 2 captains in Haley Matthews in the 50-over leg and Shakira Salma in the T20 Blaze held in St. Kitts and Nevis. In the 50-over, Barbados women won each of their 5 matches en route to accumulating 20 points, and in the T20 tournament they won 4 out of the 5 matches played to accumulate 16 points. All team members received a token of appreciation from the Barbados Cricket Association.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Time now for tonight's business report. CIBC, First Caribbean International Bank, will revert to CIBC from January the 30th next year. Chief Executive Officer Mark St. Hill described the renaming and rebranding as the marriage of a strong global brand run by people of the Caribbean. Trevor Thorpe reports.
CEO Mark St. Hill says it's no small feat, as everything has to be changed, but the intention is to be different from others in the region and to be an omni-channel bank. He says online lending is already in place and they are optimistic about their footprint in the marketplace.
We are the best digitally enabled bank, and I don't think there are many banks that has been able to marry being a strong relationship bank that focuses on relationships and people, but yet brings the very best in technology. You usually find certain banks pivot on one side, either relationship or they pivot, they want to be a digital bank. We are truly a first-class, digitally enabled. The fancy word for that is an omni-channel bank.
The CEO says staff will be put at ease and made comfortable in the exercise, which brings to an end one program and the start of a new one.
This is a major step in the right direction to show not only the markets but also to settle our staff. This rebranding exercise is not a small feat. It's going to be major. It's about rebranding all of our assets, the company, and everything we do. It is more than just changing a brand name, but the way that we will work. But it really signals the end of a program, and that program has worked extremely well. As you can see, our results have been quite sound.
According to Mr. St. Hill, the rebranding is in keeping with the government's call for such a presence in the banking community, and it's a fusing of the initiative.
It has always been owned since 2008, when CIBC bought the remaining shares of Barclays. The franchise has been owned by CIBC. So it has always been a Canadian bank. We plan and we intend to keep a strong global brand with a Caribbean flavor.
Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Brian Dorrant is the winner of the 9th CIBC First Caribbean International Bank UE Student Entrepreneurial Empowerment Development Business Plan competition. He got the nod from the judges ahead of 4 other finalists for his business, Greenhaven Farms, following a competitive pitching session. The computer science student is hoping to apply what he's learned in the classroom to enhance his sustainable agribusiness.
I am actively searching ways to, apply the technology as well that I'm learning from school, back into the sector. One way that I'm planning to do so is by developing an app where persons can, it goes tie and tie with the farming, where persons can, order and, have access to seeing what is available on the farm at the time, because as we all know, most crops are seasonal and, it's quite difficult to get them, especially when you're dealing with the monkeys.
And Director of Corporate Communications at CIBC First Caribbean, Deborah King, says the competition is just an element of its ongoing partnership with the UWI.
The First Caribbean International Comtrust Foundation, which is a registered charity which we created to oversee our corporate giving program, has chosen a number of strategic priorities around which it concentrates its efforts. And some of these are assistance to young people with a particular emphasis on education. And in that vein, we have had this long-running partnership with the UWI through its various campuses, with our bank being the university's largest donor of scholarships and a huge supporter of research at the UWI.
All right, Anne-Marie, time to come back to you. You've kept us on our edge. What's this big breaking news?
Well, Barbados is set to break barriers in the sport of ice skating, thanks to a young lady who is looking to take the sport to the highest level. Here's her story. Take note of this name, Priyanka Sharma, the young lady set to take the ice skating world by storm, being the first to represent Barbados in the sport. It's a sport she adopted from a very young age and is all ready to take it to the highest competitive level. Priyanka recently tasted success when she won her division at the Peru on Ice event. As she spoke to us from her home in Canada, flanked by parents Raj and Tracy. Outside of it being an honor to represent the island, what is even more important to her is to be an inspiration to other aspiring Barbadian skaters.
It feels great to be a role model for all those younger skaters. Even while I was in Peru, all the younger skaters, they watched me compete, and I could tell that they look up to me and they want to be like me someday. So being able to show them what I can do and to show them that they can also be like this with a lot of time, dedication, and hard work, it feels amazing. And especially for young Barbadian kids who are interested in it, I'd love to be their role model and, show them that this is possible for them now.
Priyanka's mom, Tracy, has Barbadian roots, and for her and her family to have her daughter embrace it in such a big way is special.
It is such a fabulous feeling, Emery, to know that we are making history in terms of just thinking about my grandparents. As Priyanka mentioned, I went to Barbados as a child after we were born. We came to Canada, then started going back and visiting both of my grandparents on my maternal and paternal side. And to think about the legacy that Priyanka is creating based on the country and being able to really help other kids that are thinking and dreaming about possibly doing something like this. There's an avenue now, there's access. So this is tremendous. My parents live here, they're still alive in Canada, and my father is absolutely ecstatic at the fact that his granddaughter is wrapped in the Barbadian flag.
With the dream of representing the island at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, Italy, there has to be an established national federation sanctioned by the International Skating Union, the sports world governing body. This is where Dad Raj has stepped in to ensure this is in place.
We actually met with the Barbados Olympic Association. We met with the National Sports Council a couple of years ago. They gave us some fantastic guidance on what to do, how to do it. So we've taken a lot of effort to actually incorporate the Barbados Ice Skating Association as a nonprofit organization this past May. So we are official. We are in regular contact with BOA and National Sports Council. We've actually made an application to the International Skating Union for membership. And that's going to be it's a ongoing process, and we'll know at the 2-year mark in early 2025. But we're doing all the right things now in order to gain that membership.
In looking to boost the sport right now, the Sharmas are giving back in a big way.
We're going to be attending the Barbados Independence Gala, the Barbados Canada Independence Gala on November the 25th. We are going to be giving a donation in which we would allow a skater to be able to purchase what we call a starter kit. This will give a young Barbadian the ability to purchase some skates, a helmet, maybe some gear in terms of looking at gloves and, that sort of thing in terms of just a starter pack. So hopefully this can start to get that interest and really get kids, as Priyanka said, to be that role model that they can look upon. She did it. You can do it too.
So put ice skating on the list of sports Barbados has an international presence in. Thanks to Priyanka Sharma, and in the near future, hopefully some more ice skaters will come to the fore. A 12-member Barbados Under-19 water polo team left the island this morning for the Crifter Championships in Miami, Florida. The team of Captain Israel Bryan, Shay Chase, Ian Dean Warner, Ethan Rochford, Nathan Walker, Caden Aline Bavell, Keshawn McLean, Kyan Aline, Zachary Best, Matthew King, Joshua King, and Xavier Peterson is under the guidance of head coach Nathan James and assistant coach Xavier Smith-Taylor. Former national player Tyrese Beckles is the manager. The championship, which serves as a 5-year pilot program for the sport, is being held in the U.S. for a second year, as last year it was hosted under the auspices of the Barbados Water Polo Club. This year's competition is being spearheaded by Curacao. Along with Barbados, there will be teams from Trinidad and Tobago, Bonaire, Bahamas, Curacao, and a number of teams from the USA. The Crifter Water Polo Championships will run from November 10th to the 12th.
And that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending yours with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we will see you tomorrow.